Thanks everyone for coming back for another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. You know the group here. Kim to the left, Mac to the right, TJ in the middle. During this time of everyone dealing with COVID-19, another bit of news has been, I felt, under the radar. And under the radar in the last few days, not so much, but for quite a while, this was under the radar. Obamagate. What is Obamagate? Well, the way I interpret Obamagate is surveillance of Donald Trump, the civilian, as he was running for president of the United States. The surveillance of President-elect Donald Trump during the transition time after he won the election. The surveillance of President Donald Trump after he became the president of the United States. He's been surveilled literally from start to finish from the moment he came down the escalator. On my way to work, I listened to Hugh Hewitt a lot, and he made the comment of, you know, when we have presidential elections, there is an expectation of seamless transition of power between the two presidential administrations, and Obamagate has done nothing to that effect. Any thoughts so far, guys?
Well, the first tip-off of this for me, that's something, I couldn't have envisioned all of this, but the first thing that I thought was going to be, where I was going to smell a rat, was the fact that he decided to not go back to Illinois or back to his home state like every other president, but stay right there in D.C.
Yeah.
And set up a shadow government.
Yeah.
Or a shadow cabinet, we'll say.
And the other problem I'm having is with all of the surveillance that the people in power seem to think they have the right to do on the American people.
Well, it goes back to keeping us safe. The Patriot Act is about keeping us safe.
Yeah. And I'll reference Hugh Hewitt again. As I was listening to Hugh Hewitt, he was kind of chuckling. And he said, you almost need one of those mob charts that you see like in a crime movie where you got all these faces, you know, stuck to a board with lines going this way and that way to another face and who's connected to who doing what, you know. And
the Obama crime family.
Yeah, the goes to how deep the swamp is actually. Part of my angst in all of this is, as bad as the Democrats were in doing this, I'm sickened by the Republicans. There is the thought that some Republicans cooperated early on, and some, during the process, as it was becoming known, they were content to play dumb and sit on their thumbs, look the other way, which goes to something Mac has referenced me saying all along. My problem with the D.C. people is, you know, the Democrats are out to destroy me, and the Republicans are content to look the other way. That's exactly what they did here, okay? They looked the other way.
And they didn't just do it to Donald Trump, they're doing it to us.
Yeah. And then I think back to very early in President Trump's administration. If you recall, and I've spoken about this before, Devin Nunes was on to the Democrats, and he ran to the White House to give President Trump a heads up. And what happened? Well, aside from the Democrats saying what a horrible person he was, you know what? The Republicans, what was it, Paul Ryan, chimed in. Yeah. What do you think you're doing, running to the White House about all this stuff going on? You know, and it annoyed me then, and it annoys me even more now as all the dirty laundry comes out.
Well, Paul Ryan was seen visiting Obama after the election, running over there, doing God knows what with him.
Yeah, there's too much.
Ryan is no good.
No.
So you got, you know, everyone knows Steele dossier, and I do believe that was initially put out there to smear Donald Trump into losing the election.
Right.
But then when Donald Trump didn't lose the election, then they used it to taint and infiltrate his transition. The following year when he became president, the transition and even the presidency itself, Steele and it is accepted. The Steele dossier was finally used to get the FISA warrant. Here's what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mac. The first 3 applications was kicked back. The 4th one was granted because they used the inclusion of the Steele dossier.
Right. That's my
Okay,
understanding.
so it took the Steele dossier to get the FISA warrant. Okay, of course, once you got the FISA warrant, now you got government ordained out and out spying.
Well, what's
Okay?
important to understand, if you understand anything about how a warrant is issued, the person seeking the warrant swears an oath that to the best of their knowledge, this is true.
True.
They knew it wasn't true. They perjured themselves
They should
to
be
a
arrested.
court, and that's a crime.
And they need to be arrested, and they need to face the jury just like anyone else would.
Right?
Where I've been getting my information, and I don't want to get into the weeds of who did what, when, or where, because if you've been listening to the radio, we know it. But to, if you want confirmation or affirmation of what you think, feel, suspect, I get my information from the Federalist, American Thinker, and American Greatness, and I stand by those websites. I'll put them up against any website out there. I really like the Molly Hemingway, John Solomon, and Greg Jarrett, Fox News investigative reporter. All these and those are just the popular ones. There's many others out there on those websites. If you want the finer intricacies of Obamagate, there's where you go to find it all out.
You know, the thing is Obamagate makes Watergate look like play.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Well, one is
and it was.
it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
The Watergate was about a crime that happened, and the president covered it up. This is a crime the president did.
Yeah, committed.
And
Yeah.
President Trump is starting to call out was Lindsey Graham and the Senate. Hey, when are you going to put a little heat on?
I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
And a thought entered my mind at some point when I was preparing this material. I've heard different radio commentators say you can forget about prosecuting ex-President Obama because you can't have one president prosecuting. You can't have the current president prosecuting what his predecessor did. And while I see,
But the predecessor can, the one before can go after the current.
that is exactly the point.
You know?
You beat me to my point here. You beat me to my point. Thank you. As I thought about it, I said, well, wait a minute. We're not going to go back and get the guy who tried to get our guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm going to tell you something. If they were to gain the White House, they're going to do everything. Donald Trump will have to flee the country. Otherwise, they're going to put him in prison.
Oh, and by the way, didn't Obama's administration want to go after some of Bush's cabinet for
they
what they
did.
did in Iraq?
Yes, they did.
So
Called him a war criminal, and
all
they
that
had
stuff.
to really. I think ultimately he was the one who decided, no, this isn't a good idea. But they wanted to put George W. Bush in prison. He seems to have forgotten that while he was on his vacation on the high road.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that all this surveillance stuff, we've got to do something about. They shouldn't be able to surveillance people without warrants.
But even if they get
All of
the
this
warrants,
crap.
I mean, I keep going
All
back
of
to
this crap.
the
We're being surveilled. Our governor is surveillancing the people in Michigan. She said on her interview, 50% of the people did my lockdown, and I got this information from their cell phone data.
Oh yeah, I heard about
And then
that.
she
That's
said,
supposed to take a warrant too.
and then she said, but now only 30% are doing it, and this is all from using our cell phone data.
Maybe I should sue Sprint.
So she apparently has the right to get into our cell phones and do surveillance on us. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Huge problem.
I might have a big problem with it. They see what I've done.
I wanted to bring up the name of Richard Grinnell, acting director of national intelligence. This past week, he was quite the key player in releasing declassified documents and information. In his release, it was discovered that 39 people unmasked General Flynn. And in releasing his documents, It also indicated that Clapper and Brennan and gang, we'll say, were lying through their teeth as they were on CNN and MSNBC that night, referencing all the information they had that was so damning to President Trump.
Isn't this treason?
Well, to get on CNN and lie is.
I mean, it's treasonous.
You're
Especially
propagating
about the president. To me, that's treasonous.
Yeah.
Also, as Richard Grenell released this information, it did not speak highly of the Republicans either. Clearly, they knew this and was content to sit on their hands. Going to my issue with these D.C. inside the Beltway Republicans.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you, the thing is he wasn't the old GOP, and that's the reason why
He's Republican. In some sense, Trump's a rhino in that he's Republican in name only. He ran as a Republican, but he's a Trumpian, I would say.
I just consider him a conservative.
Yeah.
In any event, the reason why I bring all this up, the reason why I bring up Obamagate, my point is, Obamagate is the reason Trump needs to win re-election.
Oh, yes.
Right from the very start, I've sensed this has been a race. Who gets who first? Are the Democrats going to get Trump before he gets to the bottom of it? And with the help of Republicans, they've stalled and been less than forthright, not cooperative at all. And it's been a grind the last 3 years. The last 3 years have been a grind to get to the bottom of what is now becoming Obamagate.
It's amazing that President Trump has been able to do what he has done.
Yeah, absolutely.
With what he has been handed to him by the Democratic Party.
I also speculate that I believe at this time it's favorable for President Trump to win re-election. If that in fact does happen, which I hope does, it's going to be burning down the House now. Once in his second administration.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent that he's going to win, and he's going to win perhaps historically big. They know this. That's why they want to have 10-year-olds vote. That's why they want to have mail-in voting. They want to have people who aren't even citizens of this country vote. They have to scrape up every scam vote they can. This is why we can never have that mail-in voting.
And we need to take the House of Representatives back. You've heard us beat the drum on that before.
Oh my goodness, Pelosi's a disaster. I'm hoping she loses election. I heard that she's got a pretty good candidate running against her.
Yeah,
well,
that fix will be in.
Slightly off topic, I wanted to mention, I forget his name, Garcia, won that California district.
Yes.
He won that district, which was, and that was the first time the Republicans were able to flip a Democrat House seat in California since I want to say 1998, if my memory serves me
22
correct.
years, I heard.
Yes.
Yep.
So, that.
And Texas did it not too long ago along the border, one of the border.
I think our magic number is some 18, I think, which isn't much. And you've heard in my solo, I was talking about a guy named Derek Van Orden in Wisconsin. He's got a really good chance of flipping that Democrat seat. Plus, a year ago, I want to say, I was talking about an ex-military guy in Virginia. They think he's got a good chance of flipping that Virginia Democrat-controlled seat. So, I think we have a legitimate shot at the House. All right.
I do too.
Trump needs to get reelected. We need to get control of the House, and Trump needs to finish draining the swamp, man.
Can you imagine Biden? Oh my gosh. I mean, that in itself, and whoever is the second behind him is the one that's going to be president.
Yeah, well, he's got serious problems. He's got
dementia, I think.
He's got, well, if that isn't an act. A lot of mafia figures have run that scam where they walk around in their pajamas pretending they don't know where they're at, and there's nothing wrong with them.
What do they call it, the Columbo thing? I just got one more question.
Yeah.
Yes.
But former Vice President Biden, he's got his part in Obamagate. He said he didn't know anything, and now he's had basically confessed that he did.
Oh, he was one of the 39 that unmasked
Yes.
General Flynn.
With 8 days left in the administration. I mean, if you ever give a 2-week notice on a job and you're down to the last day or two, you can't tell me you care about things the way you did.
And something after the fact here. One of the red flags early on was Susan Rice's memo to President Obama. Okay, the whole "we did everything by the book like you told us to." It is being speculated Susan Rice knew it was going to be a matter of time. Of course, did any of us know it'd take 3 years? But I believe Susan Rice knew then it was only a matter of time before all this dirty laundry got put on the line.
Well, why did Hillary Clinton make the comment, if that SOB gets elected, we'll all hang?
Yeah.
Well, innocent people don't say, if this person does this or that, I'll hang. Why would I hang? I didn't do anything.
And it's also said Sally Yates, the acting attorney general, didn't even know what the FBI was doing, and it wasn't until she had a meeting with the FBI, Comey, I want to say, with President Obama, as she's sitting there, and they just talk about it like it's common knowledge, and it dawns on her, holy cow, this is going on, and Sally Yates was no fan of Donald Trump, and she's sitting there thinking, holy cow, these guys are keeping tabs on Trump.
So it's a matter of, who do you think is going to flip on this Obama?
Well, that's another segment.
I think it's going to be Brennan.
I think that's why they unmasked Flynn, because it's been speculated that Flynn knows where
all the dirt is.
where all the to use a mob saying, Flynn knows where all the dead bodies are buried, and that's why they went after Flynn.
Yeah.
In hopes that maybe they could get him to flip on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what they're saying, and they're saying that he knows where everything. So it will be interesting.
So, anything else, people?
Nope.
That's about it.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Michigan Conservative Roundtable signing off with be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.